Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell with all of his hair still
Yeah.
intact. Colin, show him the look at the
100%.
clippers.
100%.
Oh my gosh! So
Turn
yes,
them off. Oh, there we go.
we will have that. Well, on YouTube, we'll break it off into its own video. But if you're listening
Yeah.
on the audio side, that will be at the end of this podcast. I don't know how we're gonna
We'll see
audio.
what it sounds like, I guess. And then if not, we can just
Last
delete it.
time when I ate the chip, we just cut it. We were like check out YouTube for the video, so we might just do that. But regardless, Colin will be shaving his head today, so you can listen to this with that
By
in mind.
myself. So this is going to look like bad.
Yeah, by himself. He has nobody else to do it for him.
It's 9. It's almost 10. So no, everyone's working.
Yeah,
know.
10 a.m. 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, believe it or not. But Colin, we have a lot more like somber news to talk about today. I mean, this is just this is going to be one of the most I don't want to say sad, but one of the least happy
Low
podcasts.
vibes. Low vibes.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the lowest vibe podcasts we've ever done.
Yeah.
And we've done some low ones, Colin. We have
There
called
have
for
been
coaches. We've
plenty
called
of
for
low
coaches'
ones.
heads. We've called for changes. We've called. We've done it after. I think the most sad one that I can think of off the top of my head. There have been a lot football wise, obviously. The one I think of is after North Texas lost to Charlotte 2019 on that Hail Mary type play. Where
the game
it was
ceiling.
at your house,
No,
and
mine
we
was the Rice
immediately.
podcast.
Oh, Rice. Actually, no, Rice was the worst.
Yeah, the Rice podcast was bad.
Sorry. Yeah, Rice is the worst.
Because we drove back and then did the podcast.
Yeah. So that one's the worst. But this one, in terms of just content and stuff going wrong for North Texas, this one's up there. This isn't a singular moment, but we're gonna start off today with the basketball game. North Texas traveled to Boise, Idaho to take on Boise State, and it was a game that I thought North Texas outplayed Boise State in for legitimately 38 minutes. North Texas was, in my opinion, the better team. Boise State shot the ball well from three, and North Texas didn't, but North Texas still found a way to get like a 6-point lead with 2 minutes left. And I was like, all right. I texted you. I said, I don't know if I said this, but I was like, I think they're gonna do it. Like you weren't able to watch it live. But
Yeah.
I was like, I think they got this. 6-point lead, 2 minutes left. Here we go. And then just a massive collapse from North Texas as Boise State closes the game on 11-0 run in the last 2 minutes to win 69-64. Aaron Scott and Reuben Jones foul out of the game in the last 5 minutes. Bugs has a three to take the lead, misses it. Noland has a decent look, I think, to tie it, misses it. And that's the game. Boise ends up going and closing it out. So, through this point of the season, well, I mean, I don't want to get big picture already, but like in terms of the actual game, I thought it was disappointing. Obviously, that Bugs didn't give you anything. 29 minutes, 0 points, 0-4.
Yeah.
Like that can't really happen.
Aaron Scott didn't foul out, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did 5 in it. I think the technical. Yeah, he had the technical count as a personal, I think, as well. But he had 5. Him and I'm looking at the stats right now. Him and Ruben had 5 each. Matt Stone had 4. But yeah, those Aaron Scott 4 of 11 from the field, 9 points. Reuben Jones had a much better second half than first half.
Yeah.
6 of 13 from the field. So credit to Reuben for getting it together in second half. But like, I don't even think the offense was like that bad, except that it had 19 turnovers.
Yeah.
And the defense for North Texas forced 20 turnovers. So I was at halftime, I had this exact thought where I was like, okay, North Texas should be up by more. Or I'm sorry, North Texas was losing by 1 because Boise State scored late. But I was like, this is a game North Texas should be winning. And I think winning by like 4 or 5 points. But Boise State was shooting 50% at halftime. Boise State had a clear matchup that they liked with Dagenhart at the forward position, who was able to take Aaron Scott off the dribble, was able to take like anybody they put on him off the dribble And that's kind of the difference. Obviously, Agbo for Boise State ends the game 6 of 9 from 3. North Texas in the first half fouled 3 3-point shooters. Just like small things like that you can't have happen. So it was an undisciplined game. It was a disappointing game. I think that both of Ruben and Aaron fouling out was frankly kind of unacceptable as the two best players on the team. You can't have that in any game where both of them foul out, because then you're just opening the door for what happened, an 11-0 run from Boise State to close the game. So yeah, undisciplined. I felt like offensively, Jason Edwards gets the 26 of 16 shooting, not great. Had a couple threes, I thought, to maybe break it open even more, and then had the porous decision to go in and try to finish over a however tall 6'9" guy or whatever it was, and with a minute left, and misses it. So overall, this is a disappointing loss, and this is probably the most painful loss to this point this season. Yeah, I don't. Do you have anything, or
I mean, watching the end of the game, I think you said being Aaron Scott and Ruben Jones both fouled out. I think Ruben was the biggest one. He fouled out with 3 minutes left, and at that point they were up. Was it?
It's probably like 2 or 4.
60. Jesus, just had, there it is. He 62-58.
Yeah,
that's what it was, and basically that just kind of got rid of the calming presence. Like you had the turnover on the inbounds play in the corner with Jason, and then you also have that layup that you're talking about. And I feel like if Ruben's in there, kind of settle down a bit. You don't think about Boise kind of making that comeback. Aaron fouls out with 1:19 left, and he's your best player. I think it is a really hard loss, especially after how that tournament went.
Yeah.
But you have to hope that this is just them adjusting to not knowing how to close games just yet with these new players. I don't know how much you believe in that.
I mean, they also, like, the Northern Iowa win was a win, but they also almost choked that away too.
And I was going to ask you is do you think that this is more of a trend than it is a temporary issue? Because obviously we saw it against LSU, we saw it kind of against St. John's, where they just go in these scoring droughts at the end of games and can't really close them out. So how much are you looking into that?
I think it's legitimate, because I think throughout this game, it's if Aaron Scott isn't creating one-on-one matchup advantages for this offense, they don't have anybody else that can clearly go create that. Jason Edwards is the option that you look at, okay, he can go get a bucket, but he's not he's not the most efficient player ever. He doesn't take the highest quality shots. You want Aaron Scott to be that player. You want Aaron Scott to be the guy that, hey, we need a bucket, we can go to him and he'll get us a good look at the very least, which honestly, he hasn't really been able to do that. Like, the mid-range jumper is not really falling right now. He hit the 1-3 off the catch, but other than that, he was 3 of 10 from the field. He had some missed fades, some shots at the rim went in, but I didn't feel good about Aaron Scott offensively. And it gets to a bigger point where, Boise State did. They had Dagenhart, who was able to take Aaron Scott off the dribble, was able to take other players off the dribble. He was that 6'9", 6'8" guy that got to wherever he wanted on the court. That's where Aaron needs to be for this team to have success late in games, because like we said, the last 4 years, it's been what? Javion Hamlet, Tyler Perry late in games. This year, there is none of that. There is Jason Edwards, I think, but he's not quite on the level of those two players.
Here's the thing, though, is I don't think that this team necessarily needs a Tyler Perry in terms of that hero shot maker. He can just do anything, because against LSU and against Boise, is you expecting to close out that game with the lead that you had. I mean, what was they were up
for LSU or for Boise?
For Boise, they were up
6 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, they were up 6 with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left.
Yeah. And LSU, it was the same thing. It was they were up 5 with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, so you hold the ball, you don't go for that layup, you don't the fouls, whatever. You should still be able to close out that game and hopefully get a 2 points out of those 2 minutes, and instead you go scoreless and you let them go on an 11-0 run. I think. Sorry. I was gonna say I just think it's mentally. I don't think they are quite there yet in terms of closing games.
The frustrating part, well, the bigger picture, like to me, the concern I have is in the front court still. Like
Yeah.
Robert Aaron and Sissoko, they I don't think they were the reason this team lost. I thought Robert Allen fought really like he was awesome on the glass, 9 rebounds.
Hmm.
Aaron Scott 8 rebounds, Sissoko 6 rebounds, and rebounds was a big reason that they were winning this game. They out rebounded Boise State significantly, 15 offensive rebounds to 5. Like so that is a big thing. Now they only had 10 second chance points to Boise State's 12. So it's like how much did they matter when you're not scoring the ball? But still you're getting more looks at the rim. So I don't want to make it sound like they are the problem per se. I still think, Aaron needs to play better and the guards need to play better. But also, I mean, just Matt Stone goes out there 14 minutes, 4 fouls, 0 points, 0-1 shooting. No
Yeah.
rebounds, no assists.
Yeah.
This is where you wish you had Rondell Walker.
Yeah.
And maybe you get some good news on him because guys are getting approved in the NCAA right now for their second time waivers. So maybe we get some good news on Rondell fairly soon, hopefully. But regardless, like Robert Allen and Sissoko at the 5, Robert Allen is clearly the better player. He's clearly the more impactful player. Sissoko kind of just is what he is right now. It's hard to expect him to take like that step forward developmental wise. Robert Allen at least has been in the SEC and has like played legitimate competition. He had 5 turnovers though. And so I don't know if there is a solution in the front court because defensively, I don't think Allen, Sissoko, or Scott are where they're not Thomas Bell, right? They're not Zachary Simmons.
Yeah.
Like they're not those level. They're not Dangu. Like they're not those level of players defensively right now that can stop a Dagenhart from getting in the paint and doing whatever he wants. So, um, yeah, overall, I I'm not out on this team, but you have to. For me as a fan, like let's turn on our fan hats for a second.
Hmm.
This was an infuriating loss.
Oh yeah.
This was an absolutely infuriating loss because this was the third loss that very much should have been a win. And 3 losses by 5 or less points, neutral road. We said going into this season, you have to win one of those. And
Yeah.
now you have Mississippi State. I don't know where that game's being played, but it says semi away on Kimpom, and I don't remember where that is. But regardless, now you have Mississippi State, and if you don't win that, then you have basically lost, all of those games that we said, hey, you need to win one of them.
Yeah.
And they'll have gone 0 for 4. So I'm frustrated from that perspective of saying, all right, you weren't able to do what you wanted to do in the non-conference if you lose to Mississippi State. And the first 3 at least have all been winnable. And now we
Yeah.
look to we look to conference play where it's going to be a ton of tight games, and then we look to the conference tournament where it's going to be a ton of tight games and say, all right, you have like 3 months, or I mean, really, you need to do better. You need to do well in conference too. So you have like a month to figure this out, and I'm not sure where the answers are going to come from. Like, is
Yeah.
the defense going to take a massive step forward? Maybe they're 31st in the country defensively. Like, I don't know how much better they can get. They're 149th in offense right now, Colin.
Yeah. It's not
149.
great. It's not great. I mean, against Boise, they shot what 23% from 3, 417. Is
Yeah,
that
and
the
I don't
math on
even
that?
think like they're 149th in offense. They're shooting 54% from 3. I'm sorry, they're 54th in the country in 3-point percentage.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't even think they're that good of a shooting team.
I
Again,
know I didn't even I would be I'm shocked that they're that high honestly because it doesn't feel like anything's really falling. I mean they were 6 for what were they against
6 of 23, or I'm sorry, hold on, let me 6 of 19 against St. John's. I think they don't have like awful
I
shooting
mean
teams.
LSU's they were 12 of 32.
6 of 20 against Towson. Last night they were what were they 4 of 17. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's not ideal, but
No.
we'll see. Yeah, the offense leaves obviously plenty to be desired. They're gonna have to kind of figure figure things out a little bit on that end. So it was a frustrating loss. If you would have got me on this podcast last night, I would have been in a much worse mood. I was like legitimately mad. I don't know the last time I was legitimately mad at a loss like that.
Here's the thing too is we're talking about Mississippi State. Fordham's not like a pushover team. I mean they pushed Tulane. And they lost not by 8 points. Yeah, 8 points. 89-81 to Tulane they lost. And Tulane is right now in Ken Palm, I believe 2 spots lower than North Texas.
90.
They're 90 and North Texas is
79.
79. So it's not they could catch you. Is
that
what I'm
game's
trying to say.
in Brooklyn too, I believe, and the Nets court, I believe. So, Fordham, then Mississippi State, then UT Arlington to close out the non-conference season. We'll see. We'll see. Mississippi State just lost to Southern from Baton Rouge, so who knows? Okay, I don't have anything else on that. That was frustrating.
No, I'm good.
I'm frustrated now.
Your mood is your voice gets deeper, and you get a little. Need like a Capri Sun.